Welcome back. I'm Roy with Rugged Badger Racing and Team Parts Badger. This is our 80 hours to Gingerman Champ Car, and behind me is our motor with our brand new oil pan attached. I'm really excited because today we are going to get this motor prepared to go in the car. So it's a little bit before 5 a.m. The reason I'm starting so early, we only have 23 hours left of this project. I'm trying to get a jump on this so we have enough time. Let's dive in. All right, making good progress. I think this is ready to go on the hoist, and I'm gonna start working on the rear of the engine. What I'm gonna try to do is replace the rear main, get everything cleaned up there, and then I can start attaching the flywheel, clutch. Something else that's nice in the background, I also have Miller helping us out here. He's gonna be crewing with us as well, and then hopefully I can get him in a car. Let's see how he does on the track. But yeah, let me dive into this thing and start working on the rear. So getting this adapter plate on, I'm not sure the torque spec. I tried torquing this top one to 85 and it definitely started to strip out. And these were already stressed when I took them out. I actually bought brand new hardware to put in here. So I ended up torquing about 65. I think that's as much as these can take. It is an M12, so I'd expect this to be able to support 80, 90 foot-pounds, no problem, but I think just with the hex style, this doesn't work. Nonetheless, I have these all torqued to spec. Now you notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's one down here for the starter. So there's like no support in this area at all for the transmission. So that's where I'm hoping our bracket here, or the threads that we have underneath, we're gonna be able to create some sort of L between the bottom of the oil pan and then the bottom of this here to stop that transmission flex. Because if you look about the points, look at that. I have almost half of the bell housing is going to be completely unsupported. And the only thing connecting it is this tiny thin piece of aluminum right here. Ideally, we'd make a new bracket, add some additional material and make this out of alloy. Maybe we'll have a little bit of header clearance or something like that as far as an issue. But nonetheless, this is almost complete here. I'll get the starter bolt, then I'll start putting the flywheel on. All right, so I'm getting this attached here. Now, I had a recommendation to use these ARP flywheel bolts. This kit's actually for the Toyota 4AG engine. It comes with 8, but they are identical to the ones that were in the car. So, got those inserted. Now, ARP includes this assembly lubricant that's specially designed to torque these to an exact specification. So when you do head bolts and rod bolts, it's really important you use this stuff because that's what it's engineered for, torque spec. Now, for this, to be honest, I really don't want it coming loose. So instead of assembly lubricant, I actually use Loctite Red. So I do not want this thing coming loose. That's what I did. I'm gonna torque these to 70 foot-pounds and keep going. All right, making really good progress. Got the flywheel on. Two things. One is you want to make sure that the transmission side, which is the side that protrudes out, is facing this way. If it's facing this way, your clutch is not going to disengage. That's happened, and it's happened just before a race with the team I rented with, and it was very, very frustrating. So you want to make sure that that's facing outward. That is here. We're good to go. Now, something else that I try to do the alignment tool kind of sucks, but I use it and I eyeball in between here because you have these nice concentric rings that you're able to really make sure that that's in there nice and concentric rather than just putting the tool in and assuming that that's going to be perfect. It's not. Since I've been doing this, it's gotten much easier. So this is all torqued, ready to go. I'll do transmission next, but I do have a bunch of helpers, which is great. So Nick is here. Nick, you want to say hi?
Hi, how's it going?
So Nick is buttoning up the front suspension. I had to get some cotter pins, so he's working on that. He's the guy that designed the oil pan. So I'm glad that he's here to help out. I also have Brandon, he's working on our front splitter. And then Miller's out here prepping our fenders. So we got a lot going on today, making some really good progress. So, might have messed up. I have the ARP instructions here. Now what they say is actually to use Loctite, and they say 242. Maybe that's Loctite blue? I don't think that's Loctite red, because red has a 6 or a 7 in it. But it says use the Ultra Lube fastener under the head of the bolt. I didn't do that, but it's too late now. This is together, so fingers crossed this thing's gonna work. All right, so I messed up again, going a little too quick. So I used the starter, and you can see that shiny spot. It ran into the Miata flywheel. Now, we were able to get that tight by hand, so I don't think we hurt the flywheel at all, but this needs to be ground down just a little bit. I checked it on the other motor, so I'm gonna modify this. We'll get this thing back together, but man, this thing is coming together really nice. It is almost ready to go back into the car. All right, got the motor completed here, got the transmission connected, the flywheel, everything is prepped, good to go. We had to space out some of the hardware. This didn't include any alignment pins, and I checked the original motor and the transmission that came out of the car. Those didn't have alignment pins either, but I got this thing visually aligned. I'm happy with where this is. Now I budgeted 4 hours for this project. It took me 4 hours. However, I did include the oil pan in the project estimate, and that definitely took a little bit longer. Nonetheless, I'm happy with the progress. So stay tuned for the next video. This is gonna go in the car. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe below.